So next I'm going to talk about flow. Have you ever heard of flow, anyone? It's a little bit like the zone in sports. You know, in sports they call it the zone. Flow is a concept originally devised by Russian psychologist, see if I can pronounce this, Csikszentmihalyi. It's a state of mind where you perform at your very, very best. This can only occur when your skill level exactly meets the requirement of the task in hand. If something is too easy, you quickly become bored. If something's too difficult, you become very anxious. So it's sometimes known as the zone or the Goldilocks zone, where everything is in place and you obtain optimum results. Okay, so basically, I'm playing the piano. So if you ask me to sight read some Rachmaninoff, which is incredibly hard, the difficulty level here, it's high. My skill level's somewhere around here, so I'd be very anxious. I can't sight read Rachmaninoff. If you asked me to do it, it would be very difficult. If you asked me to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, that's very, very easy. As my skill level's up here, I'd very, very quickly become bored. But if you asked me to, say, play some Scott Joplin, asked me to play, or Clair de Lune by Debussy, a sort of medium difficulty piece, that's somewhere here, I'm somewhere here. So when I'm playing my Clair de Lune or Scott Joplin or improvising with the blues, that's where I'm in the flow. And this is where you can achieve maximum results, is when difficulty and skill levels meet. I'm sure if any of you play an instrument, or if any of you are involved in sports, you'll know what the flow is. And it's important to try and find flow. Flow is the sweet spot of work between boredom and anxiety. The Goldilocks zone, that's not too hard, not too easy, it keeps us learning. Ian Botham, have we got any cricket fans? A little bit. Do you remember the 1981 series, Ian Botham's Ashes? Now, when he was batting against Dennis Lillee, he got the quickest ever Ashes century. Now, for the first 28 balls, he didn't score. And then suddenly, he described himself, he said the ball looked like a beach ball, and it was coming at me in slow motion. Suddenly, after 28 balls, he got into flow. 26 runs later, he'd scored a century. He got the quickest ever Ashes century because he was in the zone, difficulty level. I mean, Dennis Lillee bowling at is not exactly a walk in the park, is it? But, you know, Ian Botham was one of the best batsmen in the world, so that's flow, where skill and difficulty meet. So now we go to Kiev, to the 19th century. This guy, Rabbi Nachman, he's a famous Jewish philosopher from the 19th century based in the Ukraine. Now, he believed that we must be strong to move away from sadness with all our power. But how can we do this? Well, he said there was 3 things we have to do. Firstly, movement and dance. Movement and dance. He said by forcing ourselves in the moment to get up from our space, move around and dance, happiness is woken up. By external action, internal emotions can be altered. Second tip, be silly. Children are happy, right, aren't they? They're not talking about Syria or Brexit or Theresa May or hung parliaments. They don't worry about paying the rent. They don't worry about illness or ill health. Children are naturally happy. They're silly. So what do we do when we see a small child? We don't start talking about Donald Trump, do we? You know, we'll pull a silly face. We'll act daft. We'll act like a clown. We'll make mistakes on purpose. Children are silly because they're naturally happy. And so what Rabbi Nachman said was, if you want to be happy, you have to be a little bit silly. And finally, he said, judge others favorably and judge yourself favorably. You must be willing to do this. Even a tiny light can extinguish the thickest darkness. So there we have Rabbi Nachman, 3 ways to be happy, basically. Move, dance about, judge others favorably. What's the third one again? What's the third one? Be silly. So let's have a look at this then, shall we?
Time, please. Oh, yes, here we are. Thank God. Yeah.
Talk about fear of failure. Now, fear of failure can be a serious obstacle on our journey towards happiness. You might even advocate that being successful, you have to have a proper belief system in who you are. Truly successful people find their flame. They believe in who they are. They really believe in who they are. And this is important. They don't let other people stop them from fulfilling their dreams. I'll say that again. They don't let other people stop them from fulfilling their dreams. This is what is important. Your brain is like a circuit. In essence, your brain is just a lump of plasticine. It doesn't know what to do until you tell it what to do. Yet, it has more capability and more complexity than the most powerful computer or spaceship ever invented. Think about it. There's nothing more complex. There's nothing more powerful than your own brain in the known universe. So therefore, it stands to reason. If you yourself introduce to your brain the proper wiring, you're going to immediately hit your target. If you're unsure about who you are, your dreams and goals, they will not become a reality. To be happy, you have to see the opportunity, not the obligation. So take a look at some of these famous failures.
Your brain is like a circuit switch. Once you believe you are something, you actually embody it. You embody that feeling. If you were, God forbid, in a coma, and you woke up and you didn't really have a memory, and you were told that you used to be a Navy SEAL, and they want you back now when you're healthy, do you think you'd act differently and hold yourself differently, conduct yourself different, and have a different self-concept of who you are than if you were told you were a piano instructor? Being successful in life is all about having the proper belief system in who you are. Truly believing that you are something unique, that you are something special in that field. If you truly believe inside of you that you are one of the best actors in the world, you will be entirely different than if you're like, I hope I'm good.
Okay? We can't go around laughing like idiots all the time, can we? And there's nothing more annoying than someone who overlaughs at a situation, is there? So laugh when there's a suitable situation. Don't laugh at sad events. Laugh and then stop when it's sufficient. Excessive laughter disturbs the mood of others. Laughter unnecessary exhibits your loss of common sense. And when a smile is enough, excessive laughter will be perceived as eccentric. And finally, laughing can get you in trouble, can't it? I'm sure we've all been at school where you've been told off by the teacher and you're dying to laugh and you can't. Well, I used to anyway.
Anybody else feel like a little giggle when I mention my friend, Dickus? Dickus.
They were told not to act, just don't laugh. That's all.
What
They just
about you? Do you find it reasonable when I say the name Dickus? Dickus?